Hello and welcome to At the Redline Podcast. My name's Alec Gonzalez with Coaching the Redline. I've Justin Hoffman with Blackbird Digital. We're going to talk a little bit about Blackbird Digital a little later on, but I always kind of like to start with, childhood. Where were you raised? What was your family of origin like? How many siblings? Childhood stuff.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity and
Yeah, so I was born over in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I lived there
nice.
for, honestly, my whole life. I always say I'm born and raised there. My mom was a plant biologist. My dad was a career salesperson.
Oh, nice.
So we bounced around a lot, actually. When I was about 4, we moved to Iowa because my mom was doing plant science and soil testing and stuff, and then Illinois for a year or two, California for a couple years, and then ended up moving back when I was like 10.
Uh-huh.
Pretty much resided there since. Grew up
Okay.
on the Coeur d'Alene Indian Reservation, just south of Coeur d'Alene.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
I saw that on the little research I
Mhm.
did. How is it that you are you part Coeur d'Alene Indian?
I'm not. No,
Huh.
I'm Italian. It's not as like you can live there if you want. Like
Oh, okay.
property is quite a bit cheaper. But my mom grew up on the reservation as well.
Uh-huh.
Things have changed a lot since she was in high school, but yeah, it's a really interesting place to stay and grow up, and I think it really molded me a lot as a person. Like
Okay.
just kind of being the minority in my own school was
All right.
always kind of interesting and not something I think a lot of white people get to experience.
Okay.
Really kind of puts a lot of things in perspective, and also just seeing what modern reservation is like today.
Huh.
I think there's a lot of interesting kind of misunderstandings about it. Like the tribe would always give us like school supplies and stuff at the beginning of the year, and when I was in high school I went to NIC. I was dual enrolled, and I had this backpack that had the Coeur d'Alene tribal seal on it, and I used to have people walk up all the time and be like, "What's it like being Indian?" And I'm like, "I'm not." And they're like, "Well, why do you have that?" And like, "Do people still live in teepees?" I'm like, "No, man, we live in houses." Like, it's not. It's so interesting to me how
Huh.
like right there in the reservation, the tribe that the entire city is named after, and people in Coeur d'Alene like have no understanding of what it's like.
Yeah.
It's always been really fascinating. But
Huh.
yeah, I was the only child, bounced around a lot. Obviously very close with my parents.
Uh-huh.
But now I live in Post Falls.
Okay.
Like I said, I went to NIC. I got a degree in mechanical engineering there. I've always been really into art and cars, and
Uh-huh.
all I wanted to do with my life was I watched a documentary when I was young of one of those guys like sculpting the clay model of the car,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, that's what I want to do. Then after I graduated there, I transferred to U of I, University of Idaho. And about a weekend, I switched over to business, to marketing, and then picked up 2 art majors as well. So I left there
Okay.
with 3 degrees, 2 art, and 1
Okay.
in marketing.
You an artist? Are you part-time like
Yeah,
to draw and
I do.
sculpt
I
and stuff?
love the fine arts. My degrees are both in design. So
Uh-huh.
one of them I have a bachelor's of fine arts in graphic design, and then a bachelor's of art in experience design, which is a really kind of
Cool.
fascinating kind of interconnection of all the different types.
Okay.
A lot of architecture and interior design and stuff is part of that as well.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
So I generally have 2 questions
Mhm.
before we get into, what you do in sales and selling and marketing and
Mhm.
whatnot. One has to do with trouble and difficulty and how it shaped us, and the
Mhm.
other is how mentors or, coaches, people that have watched us have paid attention and helped us along the way. So the first is you're pretty young, so I don't know. I've had someone on here the other day, and they're like,
Mhm.
"I haven't really experienced any trouble yet." And I was like, 22 years old, yeah. But how has trouble or
Mhm.
hardship, even trauma,
Mhm.
created something in you that you would celebrate
Mhm.
as far as maybe grittiness or determination or just like the certainty that,
Mhm.
you can prevail?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of like personal trauma in the sense I think people kind of use that term. I mean, I
Yeah,
was raised in a happy family. My parents took good care of me. Like I
that's
pretty much had
good.
everything I wanted, but
Yeah.
I did watch my parents from like when I was very, very young go from pretty dang poor to now they, own a multi-million-dollar business in
Yeah.
HVAC. And especially my dad, like I've seen he's gone through a lot in his life, and to see where he's at now is just amazing to me, and he's probably one of my biggest role models. But other than that, like I've always kind of passed through every kind of phase of my life. I think I have somebody that kind of serves as a little bit of a mentor.
Uh-huh.
And I'm always just kind of looking for always looking to learn from other people, especially older ones that do similar things to me that have already
Yeah.
been through everything that I've been through.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of learning from others rather than trying to learn things the hard way whenever
So
possible.
good. Yeah.
um,
So good.
but there's still only so much you can do. We're a 6-year-old business. It's not without trials and tribulations, that
Yeah.
is for sure. But things are going pretty good, and I'm
Good.
happy to be where I'm at.
Nice. Nice. Okay, Blackbird Digital.
Mhm.
Where'd the name come from? First of all, I'm just kind of curious.
I've always been really obsessed with like crows and ravens. I just
Oh,
find them
really?
really, really
Did
fascinating.
you notice my crow?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's exactly, like, if you walk into our office, there's a million of those
Oh, is
everywhere.
that right?
Yeah. That's kind of where the name came from. When I left the agency, I was the marketing and creative director at Prior. I was also really big into the Beatles at the time, and I was listening to the White Album like a ton. And
Oh,
the song
nice.
Blackbird on
Yeah.
there just felt very fitting too. So there's been a lot of little things that kind of pointed to that. Plus, I just wanted to be different. Like marketing is such a weird industry where
Yeah.
everyone either wants to be like down home, we're North Idaho marketing, or they want to be, posture as some big New York ad agency where it's name plus name agency. And I just wanted to be different. Like I
Okay.
think there's that kind of middle ground of people that are just authentic and who they are is
Cool.
very missing in our industry.
All right. So 2020, that was
Mhm.
kind of a big year.
Yeah, I missed the cutoff for the PPP loans by like 3 days when I got
Oh,
my business
man.
license. So I just had to do it, purely on cash. I started the business on cash. I had about $8,000 in my savings account. And I just made it work.
Yeah.
I lived with my parents for about a year while I was getting the business off the ground, and then moved into town again for the second time. But yeah, it was a rough time to start a business. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like when it's just one person, I didn't need a lot. There's a big
Yeah.
difference if I look back 6 years when 5 clients was enough to keep me very, very happy.
Right.
But nowadays, we need a lot more than that because I got 5 employees and got to keep things moving. A lot of overhead now.
Nice. My one question that's like really interesting to me is how has AI,
Mhm.
really changed your industry, and how have you found yourself adapting? I know it's not on any of the
Mhm.
list of questions I sent you, but I'm really curious about it.
Yeah, you really opened up Pandora's box. I love talking about AI. Mostly in like what it has done to the world, but like our industry specifically has been impacted in a lot of good and bad ways, right? I mean, for us, like we are classically trained artists. We really love design and creative strategy. We don't use AI in any of that. And at the beginning, it was actually kind of hard because we had all the questions. Why would I pay you $3,000 for a brand when I can have AI do it for free? And it's a tough question to answer because you start talking about the technicalities and functionality of a logo or something like that, and regular people don't understand that until they like actually experience why that stuff matters. When they go to get a shirt embroidered and they're like, oh my god, this is 35 colors, this is going to cost me $1 million. Weird little things like that. But as time has gone on, like especially in North Idaho, we've seen a pretty big rejection of AI. So I think honestly us kind of holding steady and refusing to embrace it in that aspect of it has actually really helped us, because now we get people seeking us out just because of that when everyone else is using AI for just about everything.
Okay.
But that said, on the flip side, there's a lot of good things, right? We do use it a lot for internal processes. We use it for automating tasks and stuff, like getting information from our project manager to our development team, stuff like that. It's become pretty valuable. But those are all the things that like don't necessarily affect the quality of the work. They just affect our ability to do it efficiently. So it's actually been really beneficial in that aspect. And I think like as a whole, it's a lot like crypto. Like I see AI, and the AI bubble is a lot like crypto. We have a lot of people misusing it, and that's going to cause that bubble to burst at some point. But it's not going anywhere, right? It's going to be here forever. It's amazing technology that really has the ability to bolster just about every business and person on the planet. And it's just a matter of people kind of normalizing it and understanding it and using it in the correct and honest ways.
Okay. Tell me about Blackbird, the business. Tell me who the perfect client is. What's the problem or pain that you like to resolve?
Yeah, so we are a full service agency, which is kind of a dying breed these days. Again, with AI and with the kind of rise of one-man show marketing agencies, people really tend to focus on one service that they're really, really good at. And that's great. But what we've really done, I've tried to build a team that is multifaceted, that can do a lot of things. And our goal really is to kind of be not necessarily a one-stop shop. I don't like that term because there are things that we're not the best at, and I'm straightforward with that, but we know the guy that is the best at it,
Yeah.
and we're going to facilitate getting that work done for our clients. So
Uh-huh.
a big thing that we solve is that kind of mid-tier business, the $3 to $10 million mark, where they're big enough that they have a lot of irons in the fire, right? They got a lot going on, but they're not so big that they have somebody whose job full time is managing that stuff.
Okay.
So that kind of gives us the opportunity to be the people that, the owner can come to and say, hey, I have a question about this thing, and we're here to be able to help them out.
Okay.
Yeah, and we really don't, like, everything that we do, we're very, very focused on efficiency and doing things correctly. Even in things that are easy to automate, like, we want to make sure that we go that extra mile. If I can squeeze 2 cents per click out of somebody's Google ads, we're going to do it.
Okay.
Which makes us a little more expensive than most, but
Good.
our return is better.
Good. All right. You already talked a little bit about your ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about the pain point that you like,
Mm-hmm.
addressing?
Yeah, so the big thing that we address tends to be people that don't know what to do. I mean, it's direction, right? Like, we do a lot of strategy. I would say 9 times out of 10 that somebody walks into our office and says, I need this thing. My first question is why? Because chances are they don't. Like, that's how many people I've had come in and say, I need a website. And when I dig into why they need a website, they say, well, my nephew says I need a website or I can't succeed. And I'm like, well, that may be true, but I don't think that's the most important thing for you to focus on right now. I think we get your landing page up and we can work on, getting you some revenue rather than focusing on something that isn't helpful without something driving traffic to it. So we really like to kind of be that top level strategy. I think long term, 10 years from now, we may not do any production. We may be purely a strategy company. And I'm just kind of going with the flow there and letting the world and our clients guide us because we have the ability to do anything. So I'm just going to kind of go where the need is.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm curious. We talked earlier through text message about sort of your strategy of sales and selling. I think it would be interesting to talk about as to how you go about, especially in the early days when it was just you, onboarding new clients, how you find them, how you sell them. What's the process that you love about it? What do you feel like your strengths are, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, I love education. So, like, Kim and all of our other employees get mad at me all the time because a 20-minute client meeting will turn into an hour and a half when I spend talking about Google ads and how these work. And I want people to leave with more than just like an agency that can handle the work for them. I want them to like understand why we do what we do and how we do that.
Okay.
Even if it's not, I'm not going to show them necessarily like here's what we do to adjust bid strategy on your Google ads. But I'm going to explain like what is a bid strategy, right? And like how does this stuff impact the quality of your ads and why is it important that we're focusing on this stuff? Yeah, I mean that's really kind of the crux of it. I just want people to leave with more than just a physical thing from us, whether that's a website or whatever.
All right. Well, on the text message, you mentioned that in the early days, you just walk around and look for bad,
anything, yeah.
bad logos, bad signs, bad marketing strategies. Talk about that.
Yeah. So early days, we don't do a lot of this anymore. We're pretty referral based these days. But yeah, back then when it was just me and I had a lot of free time, I'd take a Monday and just go walk around downtown Coeur d'Alene and walk into businesses that had something that was obviously preventing them from getting that extra little bit of business. And it was super easy to be like, hey, your logo is not great on that sign. It's really hard to read. I was like, give me $1,000 and we'll get that taken care of for you and set you up so that way you can get more walk-in traffic. And that was, kind of my form of door-to-door sales, was just wandering around and doing that or hitting people up on Facebook or something. And it's really difficult because nowadays people are just burdened with people messaging them or calling them saying we can help your marketing, but no one ever like approaches with like, what do we do to help your marketing? Like, give me an example of your business and how we can help your business. People just don't do that. So I think that really kind of separates us of doing that little bit of work and putting thought into it and being serious about like how we approach them when we're cold prospecting like that.
Right.
Because they know it's not just like, I'm not just picking anybody,
Yeah.
and we're a boutique agency too. So like it matters that the clients that we have are ones that are going to stick around for a long time and ones that we, want to be close with and enjoy working with. We have a small 25 client cap that we're starting to butt up against. We got room for about 5 more right now before we're
Okay.
just going to kind of put the brakes on and see how we're doing with workload,
Okay.
and decide if we can take on more, if I need to hire another employee, how that works.
Okay.
Because again, I really just want to make sure that we're never sacrificing, the depth and the intentionality in the work that we do,
Yeah.
just because we're signing more clients.
Okay. So assuming there's someone out there
Mhm.
that has the perfect business that would fit the next 5 clients, who is that company?
Yeah, so it's interesting you asked that, because we're in a bit of a growth phase right now, where I think we're kind of moving beyond that kind of mid-level agency to a larger regional agency. So like right now, our bread and butter clients tend to be in the trades, right? They're the bigger trades clients, mostly because I was raised in the trades. That's kind of how I learned to do marketing. So it's the stuff
Okay.
I'm really, really good at. And so is my team. We're in North Idaho. Building is like 70% of our economy.
Right.
So that's been kind of our main focus. But as we're growing, like we're getting a lot more into the entertainment industry, into kind of more off the wall things that people don't really expect. We work
Yeah.
with podcasters and music producers and car lots and stuff that are not, your typical lead gen kind of advertising.
Interesting.
So I think as time goes on, and again, because we have this kind of boutique agency, we don't want a bunch of competing clients. Like I don't want 2 roofers in Coeur d'Alene as
Okay.
clients, because we're just doing worse for both of them if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
I want to do my best for one of them. So our ideal client really is somebody that has gone through the gamut of agencies, or has tried to do stuff themselves and is just not getting the results that they wanted.
Yeah.
And that's one where we can really step in and kind of analyze what's been done and what should be being done and how can we improve things.
I wonder if you can answer the question, what is that person thinking who really needs to call you?
Usually confusion. Usually it's, I've been doing Google ads for 8 months and I don't know if I'm getting results, or I don't know how to, dissect this report that I got from the agency that's working on them, or my nephew's running the Google ads and I think they're doing good, but I don't know for sure. Like
Yeah.
that's really where we kind of step in, because part of our onboarding process is getting as much of that information as we possibly can so that we can kind of dissect it and help them decide like what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people walk into the office that we can save them money with a 20-minute phone call or a 20-minute conversation in our office of, well, you're doing 10 different things for advertising. Which ones are actually helping?
Yeah.
Let me take a look at it. And, that advice is always free. I don't charge for that, because I think that's a good trust builder, to kind of show people that we care and we know what we're talking about.
Nice. Okay. Best way to get a hold. Normally I put a name and a phone number at the bottom of the page. Is a phone number the best way, or is there a website that's better?
We got lots of ways. So you can hit us up on social media at Blackbird CDA. Our website is thisisblackbird.com.
Okay.
And our office number is 208-967-6011.
Okay.
And if you call or text that, a wonderful gentleman named Nolan will answer.
Nolan?
And yep, Nolan, he's awesome.
Yeah.
He'll get you all scheduled
Do
up.
I know Nolan? What's Nolan?
I don't think you know Nolan. I mean, maybe he lives over here.
Oh.
He's kind of your neighbor.
All right.
He's a good kid. He's also someone who's grown up in sales and managing
cool.
businesses and stuff. And he came in as our project manager, and he's been kicking butt.
Nice. All right. Well, Justin Hoffman, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.